A dog's loyalty is unmatched. Often enduring hardships far beyond what most could bear, their willpower to survive, even in the face of neglect and betrayal, is a testament to their incredible spirit. Yet, despite their unwavering devotion, dogs need the same kindness and compassion we offer to one another. This was heartbreakingly evident in the story of a dog left tied to a tree in the pouring rain, his cries echoing in the storm. Abandoned and vulnerable, he held on to the hope that someone would come to his rescue. In the bitter cold of -15 degrees Celsius, a dog tied to a tree stood in the heart of a snowy forest. Every woodcutter in the area knew him. Day after day, they passed by, watching him patiently wait for someone who would never come back. His owner, this dog, with unwavering loyalty, believed his owner would return. Even when the woodcutters untied him and built him a small hut for shelter, he stayed. He refused to leave the spot where his owner had abandoned him. Exhausted from hunger and thirst, his fragile body struggled to survive. When food was placed before him, a single piece of bread, he devoured it as if it was a treasure, his last meal. The freezing temperature was unforgiving, and survival seemed almost impossible for him. Yet, even in his dire state, he continued to wait. The woodcutters and rescuers tried to approach him with kindness, but the dog didn't trust anyone. Whenever they got close, he would hide, trembling with fear. It wasn't anger, it was heartbreak. His world had shattered, but his loyalty remained intact. Determined to help, they had no choice but to use anesthesia to take him to safety. When he woke up, his pain and fear were evident. He growled, snapped, and bit at anyone who came near. His body shook uncontrollably, his heart set on one thing: returning to the hut where he had last seen his owner. The rescuers were heartbroken. His condition was severe. He was malnourished, dehydrated, and suffering from mange, but they didn't give up on him. Slowly, they worked to earn his trust. But had he been through too much to trust anyone ever again? Days passed, and little by little, the dog began to show curiosity. The rescuers brought toys that caught his attention. He sniffed them cautiously at first, but then, with tentative enthusiasm, he began to play. They brought him home-cooked meals, offering a taste of care and love he hadn't felt in so long. He accepted the food hesitantly, eating quickly before retreating to his safe spot. He was still so emotionally wounded. For 7 days, he refused to wander far. His bed became his sanctuary, the only place where he felt safe. He would eat hurriedly and retreat back to lie down, still afraid of the world around him. His cautious eyes spoke volumes. When would this dog, so full of love and loyalty, finally feel happy again? Losing his owner was like losing everything. The one he trusted most had left him behind. Yet, despite the abandonment, his heart remained unconditionally loyal. As time went on, the rescuers saw small but meaningful changes. By the 20th day, his condition had improved. His once itchy skin began to heal, and his once sparse and patchy fur started growing back thick and white. Weekly medical baths helped him recover, and the rescuers could feel his trust building. Each passing day brought them closer. The dog started to realize that they only wanted to help him. Beneath his cautious exterior was a gentle, affectionate soul longing for attention and love. Slowly, his fears began to fade. And then something amazing happened. On the 27th day, a new friend entered his life, a second dog. It was a turning point. The two dogs bonded instantly, playing and eating together, bringing joy to each other's days. With a companion by his side, he no longer felt so alone. Surprisingly, this newfound friendship lifted his spirits. Life at the clinic became less lonely, and his progress accelerated. His weight increased, his coat became shiny, and the light in his eyes returned. The rescuers, who had named him Ace, finally saw a happy, healthy dog emerging from the shadows of his painful past. Ace grew to love the people who cared for him. His transformation was beyond remarkable, not just in appearance, but in spirit. He no longer cowered in fear or waited by the door, longing for someone who had abandoned him. After 2 months, Ace was discharged from the clinic, ready to start a new life. The dog, who had once been tied to a tree in the freezing forest, now had a warm home filled with love. He had found a family that cherished him, and he felt truly safe for the first time in his life. Ace's story is one of heartbreak, loyalty, and ultimate redemption. It reminds us of animals' incredible capacity for unconditional love, even when humans fail them. And it's a call for us to be better, for them and ourselves. In our next story, in a quiet corner of a town, a heartbreaking sight was reported. A dog was tied to a tree, her frail body barely standing, surrounded by 3 tiny crying puppies. Their eyes showed hunger and despair. It was clear that this mother had endured more than anyone could imagine. The rescuers named her Crystal. At around 10 years old, she wasn't just a dog, she was a survivor. Crystal's past was a mystery, but her condition told a cruel story. Someone had allowed her to become pregnant, only to abandon her, leaving her tied up with no way to protect herself or her newborn pups. Crystal had likely given birth to more than 3 puppies. However, many were stolen, leaving only these 3 puppies with her. The thought of what might have happened to the others was haunting. All anyone could do was hope they had somehow survived. Crystal's body showed the toll of her struggles. She was emaciated, her energy drained from feeding her puppies while getting no food or care for herself. Yet, despite her frailty, she remained a doting and affectionate mother, her protective instincts never wavering. Her puppies, however, were not in good shape. The tiny bodies of these newborns battled severe mange and were covered in fleas. Tragically, the rescuers soon lost one of the pups, leaving only 2 clinging to life. The team worked tirelessly to save the remaining babies, but their conditions were critical. One puppy grew weaker by the hour. She refused to eat or drink. Her tiny body was racked with vomiting and diarrhea. Crystal watched helplessly as her baby grew sicker. The rescuers knew immediate action was needed and rushed the puppy to the clinic. The diagnosis wasn't certain, but the puppy's symptoms hinted at a virus she might have been incubating. Her condition was dire, and she was dangerously dehydrated. The rescuers bought medicines and special food to help her fight the illness. After her first dose of medicine, there was a glimmer of hope. The puppy managed to fall asleep, a peaceful rest she desperately needed. When she woke up, hunger replaced her weakness, and she showed signs of improvement for the first time in hours. She began to eat, slowly but surely regaining a little strength. This little fighter was returned to Crystal, her mother's love and warmth acting as part of her healing. The rescuers knew she had a long road ahead, but for now, she was safe, cared for, and surrounded by love. Meanwhile, her sibling was also under close observation. The rescuers gave him the same treatment, hoping he would find the strength to recover. Crystal, despite her frail state, never stopped being a mother. Her devotion was a constant reminder of animals' unconditional love, even when the world has been so unkind to them. Crystal's story is one of heartbreak, but also resilience. She was abandoned most harshly, left to fend for herself and her helpless babies. Yet, through the pain and loss, she remained a symbol of unwavering love. The rescuers continue to care for Crystal and her surviving pups, giving them the nourishment, medical attention, and love they deserve. It's a reminder that no matter how small or fragile a life may seem, it's worth our every effort to save. Left abandoned and tied to a tree in the pouring rain, these dogs' silent cry for help was a powerful reminder of the resilience and loyalty animals show. Even when betrayed, thanks to compassionate rescuers, the heartbreaking chapter of his life has closed, and a brighter future has begun. Every act of kindness can rewrite a story of suffering into one of hope.